Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Jonathan,
I'm Justin.
and this is
Two J's,
One
one pod.
Pod.
So, Jonathan, what do you want to talk about?
I actually want to talk about what you want to talk about.
Pokemon?
No, but I've been really getting into Pokemon lately, so maybe we'll talk about that thing. Uh, I'm thinking we stick with our '90s and we go
Mm,
horror slasher movies.
you really do know me, bro.
I think I do a little bit,
I love this. It's the spooky season, and we get to talk about horror movies. Let's go.
and I picked out 10 random movies, five more for an adult audience, and then five more. I would say more of a children
Cool.
audience,
So, there's going to be
more
a nice
youth.
little mix then, huh?
Really good little mix. I was thinking we go through, bang them out, talk about some shit, and we talk about the movies, how much we love them.
Well, speaking of horror movies, during October, I watch horror movies pretty much every night. And I finally watched the first Terrifier movie. Bro, like, I know you're not in the horror movie, but for true horror fans who just love like gory horror movie, that it was great. I loved it. And then
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna watch the second one tonight after I get home, and then
Like I have no idea what you're talking about
the
right now.
third one's in theaters right now, and I'm gonna go watch that after I watch the second one.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Uh,
So it's a movie about a clown.
I have watched one horror movie so far this year, and it's kind of a satire, and we'll be talking about it today.
I've watched a lot of what was on our list actually.
Well, I always like to start everything because we haven't talked in a while. How's everything been going?
It's been going pretty good. Like I said, things at work have picked up a little bit, so that's been fun. Watching horror movies essentially every night, that's always fun to me, so I've been enjoying that. This episode has given me a reason to watch some more movies, so I really appreciated that, and yeah,
Well,
having a good
awesome.
week. How about you?
Busy at work, getting ready for an RV show up there in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina next weekend. Uh,
Dirty Myrtle, huh?
the worst thing that happened is I've got our price sheets printed up, and for some reason, 18 by 24 in my head is like 18 by 24. Well, 18 by 24 is almost as big as that poster behind me.
Oh,
So I fucked up, and they're remaking the posters for me in a 12 by 18, which is kind of what I was really thinking.
good, good.
But they're really nice. I designed them myself. Been doing a lot of really diving into advertising a lot, ads and shit, and learning how to use some programs. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I had some customers come into my office the other day and they're like, "Oh, man, this place really went all out for Halloween." And then they started looking around. They're like, "Oh, it's just this office. It was just him."
Just you.
They're like, "You're a little extra, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah." Because I sold them a unit and on their sold tag, I put a little dots and went all crazy with the design on it. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a little extra." And that's when they told me, they're like, "Yeah, we started looking at your office." And there's like, "Yeah, this guy's a little extra." I'm
You're
like, "Cool."
just a little extra. That's cool.
I was supposed to say extra like four times
You
because I'm
did
extra.
5, 6, 7,
8.
9.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else going on?
No, that's pretty much it, man.
No.
Yeah.
I've been busy lately. Don't like to
Yeah.
return people's text messages, but getting together this weekend's been like pulling fucking
Dude,
teeth.
whenever I'm busy, I'm busy. So this is like the third time we scheduled to do it this week.
I mean, you're attached to your phone and you can't even get a text message back to somebody.
Listen, it's very rude to text personal people in like while you're with customers and involved with work.
I get
I
that, but
try to wait until I get home and then it doesn't get replied
I
back.
mean, you're not that busy.
Mm. Well, I take my personal time very seriously, man.
Yeah, you do now that you're getting laid.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, I guess let's get into it.
Okay.
So what I did is I laid these out kind of in order of what year they released,
Okay. So chronological,
chronologically.
like being frozen.
Except there's a misprint then right off the bat because I just realized that I put the one that was made in '92 first. But the reason I did this is the original list was 25 fucking movies long because there's a lot of good movies in the
Yeah.
'90s.
We found that out.
We found that out in the first little thing. Oh, we never really did that,
Yeah,
did
we
we?
never did the 25 movies, but we know personally
We'll release that one of these
we
days.
will get it released down. We'll edit it and get it released. But we actually sat down, I think we mentioned it a few times. We sat down and did each of our top 25 movies from the 90s. So,
I'm playing footsies with you.
I know. That's why I moved my feet.
I'm trying to
like,
stretch
bro,
out a little bit, get comfortable.
okay.
I'm in my sweatpants.
I've been
Well,
told I'm comfortable.
so we're gonna start then at my second one. We'll go up from there. So we're gonna start. I think is probably your favorite movie of all, one of your favorite movies of all time, right?
Yes, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love like the entire culture surrounding this movie. I was into the books by Thomas. I was into all of the sequels, the TV series. Just I love
I did
everything that
not know
has to
there was a
do.
TV series.
Yeah, so it's actually called Hannibal. It came on NBC. It starred Lawrence Fishburne
I
was
love
in
Lawrence
it.
from The Matrix.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it has a really good cast, dude, and it's good. It only went 3 seasons, then it got canceled. I guess is a little gory for people, but I thought it was very artistic and a beautiful show.
Well, if anybody can't figure out what we're talking about, it is Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, starring Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster.
Yeah, wonderful cast. They both are amazing actors and actresses.
Hmm.
Uh,
That's
rel-
why Anthony Hopkins, even though he doesn't have a lot of movies that he plays and I love, he's simply one of my favorite actors because he played Hannibal.
because he played Hannibal
That's an
Lecter.
iconic character to me.
So released in 1991
Hmm.
with a small little budget of $19 million. This fucking movie made 272.7 million bucks.
Hmm. And there's so many references to this movie that are used daily that just flies over everybody's head. Like that scene in Joe Dirt with the guy in the hole, that flies over. That's Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo
They
Bill.
even call him Buffalo Bill
Yeah,
for
it
God's
puts the
sake.
lotion on the
It puts the
skin.
lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
I mean, that's like an iconic line. Everybody knows that.
Hmm. And every time I hear, what is that song, American Woman or whatever? Every time I hear that song, I just think of the scene where Buffalo Bill gets the girl to get in the back of the van. That's all I think about every time I hear that song.
Yeah,
American Girl.
you kind of remind me of a Buffalo Bill type.
Thanks.
A little creepy.
Mm.
It scored pretty well. IMDb gave it an 8.6. Rotten Tomatoes hit it with an 89.
Nice. Smart of them.
That's fucking that's some praise right there.
Listen,
I actually even enjoy this movie.
out of all the ratings we've seen for movies, that's pretty incredible because we know some of these critics aren't nice.
Well, I mean, you remember the movies that we did the last time we talked about movies, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
a good point, but
Did I tell you that we got a speaking of movies, we got a Facebook message the other day,
yeah.
and I don't know how to reply to them.
What was it?
Let me pull it up right here. Live on TV, live on radio,
Live on.
live on the pod. Somebody messaged us and asked us to review a movie.
Really?
Yeah, I want to pull it up live. I've been saving it for when we recorded.
I love that.
It's pretty cool.
I love that.
Hold on, I got like 6 Facebooks to go through here. Hold
All
on.
right, cool.
But here we go. 2 J's, 1 pod. That's us. Yeah, Nick.
Nick. Hey, Nick.
So
Thanks for
he
listening.
says, "Hey, I'm Nick. Can you review a classic TV show from the 90s for me, please?"
Sure. I mean, well, what's the show, Nick? So I guess go ahead and drop him a line. Let's see if we can
So
get a reply.
let's message him right now. We're gonna message him while we're recording.
We are messaging Nick
Hey,
right
Nick.
now, guys.
2 J's here, and
We're
We are-
recording the pod.
we are in the middle of a recording, and we thought we would hit you back. What
You type slow for a finance guy.
would you like us to cover? I don't do a lot of typing.
Yeah, I know. Numbers are different from letters, apparently.
Yeah,
What
letters
you do? Algebra?
like A plus B equals C.
Look, stop. I don't want to talk.
Oh
that.
God, my head hurts.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, we'll wait for him. Maybe we'll reply during the recording. So Justin,
Nick, if you're a bot, I swear to God.
he's probably not a bot.
Sounds like he's not a bot.
He's got a real last name that I can't pronounce.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say his last name out there for everybody.
No, we're
for
not
our
gonna do that.
millions.
We should have called him a fake name. And billions! We should have called him a fake name.
Of the 2J1 pod fans.
That's the
Nah,
ADHD
Nick's,
out
I
there.
call him Nick. That's fine.
Yeah,
Nick's,
Nick.
do you know how many Nicks there are in the world? I could probably name 12 Nicks off the top of my head that I know personally.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Probably.
Mhm.
So, this movie's pretty great, right?
Yes, I mean, it really is one of my
I mean,
favorites.
it spawned a bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
Red Dragon. But I guess there's a lot more Sounds of the Lamb movies, right?
So there's Hannibal, there's Manhunt, which is actually a
So what's
prequel. Manhunt is, I guess,
The
it would
TV
be-
show or the movie?
No,
Or the
it's a
video
mo-
game?
No, it's a movie. It was a movie in '89 or '88. It starred somebody else playing Hannibal. It was not Anthony Hopkins. Kind of not a great movie. It's really low budget and old. But you had that first, then you had Silence of the Lambs, then Hannibal, then Rain
1986.
Dragon, then Hannibal Rising, then
All
the
right.
TV series Hannibal, and then Clarice.
Oh.
Hmm.
Uh, Dennis, what's his name? Farina's in it.
And that was in the that's the release timeline, not chronological, because technically Hannibal Rising would be first, obviously, then Red Dragon.
Oh. Based on the 1981 Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. That's cool.
Hmm.
So, as we did in our last little movie kind of thing we talked about, we both slapped a little score on it. So, I don't like going out of 10. So, it released in 1991. Out of 1991, 1991, what do you give Hannibal? What do you give Silence of the Lambs?
Because of the iconic performance, not only by Anthony Hopkins but by Jodie Foster. Because of the cult following it has, because of the references still being used today, because of how easy it is to watch. Um, I am going to give it a solid 8.4.
It's I preface this whole thing by saying put we're gonna we're gonna rate it out of 1991. So out of 1991, what do
Okay.
you give this movie?
An 8 point. Okay.
An
Um,
8.4. Oh,
um,
that's great.
all right. I will probably give it a 1776. America.
America. So it's a pretty low score. I was just being like 1900.
Well, if it's 1900, then that's almost 100. That's almost like a 9.8. I wouldn't give it a 9.8.
I'm gonna give it an 1850.
I think 1850. You know what? I want to change mine to 1812.
All right,
Yep.
all right.
There you go.
There was a war then,
Yep. Can you guess which war?
the War of 1812.
You're good.
So I'm good. So great movie.
Like a wizard.
I actually haven't watched this movie in probably 10 years.
That's tragic.
Uh, I'm a little bit busier than him with other things. He's just busy getting some. So he's got more time to watch movies. I've been getting really into Pokemon, which I don't want to talk about.
Quick pro quo, Clarice.
So moving on. The year was 1992. Little movie came out.
And there's mist in the air.
There was mist in the air. So this is the only movie out of all this I rewatched recently, and I actually rewatched it like 2 days ago.
So this was my first time watching it. It was on the list as one of the only ones I didn't watch. So it was one of the first ones I rewatched off of this list. And we're talking about Army of Darkness, starring Bruce Campbell, really the only notable actor in the whole movie.
From Evil Dead, and he's Ash. And speaking of Ash, Pokemon. Sorry, I'm on a Pokemon kick lately, dude. I wish we could do Halloween
I'm like, how
Pokemon.
do you bring Pokemon back to or Army of Darkness?
Uh, but the movie released in '92. It had a budget of $19 million. It only drew 21.5 of the million at the box office.
Mm.
I wouldn't say it was a hit by any means.
No. So, guys, if you've never watched the movie, pretty much what it is it's a satire type film. It's kind of directed in a similar fashion of the Monty Python or just any other Mel Brooks film, kind of, except a horror version.
Yeah.
And it kind of takes place in the same Evil Dead universe. So, yeah, so he gets sucked into some type of portal, ends up in medieval times, and has to find a way to get back.
And he has a chainsaw for an
He
arm.
has a chainsaw. Did I leave that out? Yeah, he has a chainsaw for a hand.
I know.
Yeah.
And at first he makes a sweet, like, robot hand, metal hand.
Well, yeah. Well, the medieval people actually made him a
Yeah.
medieval hand. Yeah,
Medieval,
it's
like
pretty
almost
sweet.
like robotics from the
Hmm.
medieval. And then the wise man's like,
I was like,
"Here."
y'all can do that, but y'all want to freak out over his boomstick, right?
He's got a boomstick.
Got a boom? I got a boomstick.
I don't know where he got all the ammo from though. Like
Right?
I kept the
You
whole
just
time I'm thinking, he's like, why are you wasting all this ammo? You could use this.
like you get the way you got sucked up, bro. You weren't carrying a bunch of satchels
That
around.
happened to be his
Like
car though, he had like
I forgot about
but
the
he grabs
car.
like a half a box of shells.
Like that's why the movie, like it's a ridiculous
It's
film.
ridiculous. I laughed the whole time. It's
I
funny,
enjoyed watching it though. It was
and
a
you know
fun
what?
watch.
Critics didn't hate it. It got a 7.4 on IMDb,
Hmm.
and Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 69,
That's funny.
which is a perfect score for it.
Yeah,
So Justin, would you recommend this movie to anybody?
I would. I would. Like I said, it's a very easy watch. I was chuckling and grinning the whole time. It's just ridiculously stupid, and it was a fun watch. It's a
So
horrible movie if you're going to try to be a critic about it, but it's fun to watch.
I mean, it's not the lowest rated movie on our
It's
list,
supposed to be bad.
but it's not the lowest rated,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to rate it that low either.
No, I liked it. Like I
So
said,
out of 1992 this time,
out of 1992, I'm going to give it a 1546.
I was thinking 1500s. I'm gonna go 1492. It just
Did he
sounds
sell the Ocean Blue?
it just sounds like it rolled off the tongue. It just
Christopher
worked.
Columbus, guys.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's why you have that year in your head
this
is
is I know I'm just fucking with you.
14. Yeah, cool.
Uh, welcome to 2J's1 Pod, your history podcast.
Yeah, we'll get to that season.
So moving on, I think now we're getting to the bread and butter of what made the 90s great.
Mhm.
Little movie released in 1993, starring Jennifer Aniston
Ooh,
and Warwick Davis.
and
He's
you forget that like Jennifer Anderson is the ageless Jennifer Aniston, by the way.
and I mean she looked as good as she does today back in this movie.
Yeah, like she's a beautiful woman. Back then, today, it doesn't matter. She's incredibly beautiful.
And Warwick, he's whoever he is. Supposedly he was in Harry
Us
Potter.
nerds know who he is. Yes, he was in Harry Potter. He is in some of the Star Wars movie. He's just he is a god in
He's
some of the
a
nerd communities.
he's a little person.
He is.
We can say that's
Yes.
that's politically correct, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what he
we don't
is.
have to edit that out.
No.
Look at that. I did something right this
good,
time.
Good job,
I
Jonathan.
didn't call him up.
I'm correct. Yes, I'm proud of you for being PC for once. But yeah, this guy's a
And we're
god in the nerd communities.
and we're talking the Leprechaun.
Yeah, the
This
Leprechaun.
movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
And it's so stupid whenever you watch it back.
It is so
Like,
dumb.
it's so like the first scene is just yeah,
Yeah. It's a great movie though.
it is.
I think it's a great movie.
I enjoyed watching it.
It brings you back to being like a scared little kid.
I mean, there's no leprechaun goes through the hood, but
It was at Leprechaun in the Bronx or whatever it's called.
I think it's literally in the hood. Is what
It's
it is.
Probably Leprechaun in the Hood. Yeah, this is one of those that spawned like a ton
Of sequels.
of sequels. I mean, 2, 3. There's an Origins movie.
Doesn't he go to space?
Yeah, Leprechaun 4 in space, and then released in 2000, Leprechaun in the Hood. And I will that gives my stamp. Everybody should watch that movie if you want to laugh your ass off.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
But I mean,
That's what I love about some of the '90s movies. Like they were ridiculous.
so there was a new one back in 2018,
Yeah, I didn't watch it though. I don't know what.
and there was one in
up with that.
14. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies.
So that's right up there with the Jason and Freddy franchises.
I don't think it's that close. We can.
Well, I'm just talking about in movie count.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more movies than that. Like Halloween, they're still making Halloweens.
Yeah, but in like Nightmare on Elm Street, you're limited because they stopped after a while, and same with Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
There's probably, I'll count them up. There's
okay,
probably
we'll get there.
probably 9.
The only one
movies.
we're not touching on either, Jake. I would say we're not touching on any
I was
Nightmare on Elm
just
Street.
making conversation.
I know, but kind of sad that if you think 90s, you don't have a Jason, you don't have a Friday the 13th. It's 80s. There was a couple released in there.
Yeah, I mean there were sequels,
but they were terrible.
yeah, but we don't think 90s when we think of those sequels, and they were like the one where Jason goes to New York and half of it is spent on a boat. Like I hate that
When did
one.
Jason Go to Hell come out?
Pretty sure that was either 99 or 2000. It was like right at the millennium.
No, Jason Goes to Hell came out in 93.
Really?
We're popping this one in next right now. Wild Leprechaun is 1993.
Are you serious? 93? That old?
Jason Goes to Hell So we'll do a quick rewind. So Leprechaun, just so you guys are aware, it had a budget of $1 million. That's probably all of Jennifer's salary,
Right.
and then it made it made 8.6 million bucks.
I mean,
It got a 4.8 and a 35% Rotten
that's
Tomatoes.
kind of sad it only made that amount of money.
It was terrible. That's why.
We
I,
love it.
I mean, I like bad movies though. We've talked about this.
I would be mad if I spent like $35 to take someone to go see it,
Well,
and then
back
it
you
was
could
that
go to the
bad.
movies for like $2 back then.
Yeah, but you're only
So
getting paid $4, so
because there's been 8 movies, we're switching it. We're just gonna keep switching it up. Out of 8 movies, what do you rate it?
out of 8, Leprechaun,
Yep,
I'll stick with Rotten Tomatoes. I'll give it a 4,
4.
4 even.
So I'm gonna also go. It makes for bad TV. I'm gonna go 4.2. I almost said bad TV, but make for bad podcast for me to agree with you.
No, a 4 would be
Would
like
be
a half.
50%.
No, you know,
Because I'm taking some personal feelings. I like the movie,
I'll take it back. I'm doing decimals. I'll do
but
a 3, a 3.6.
we're doing a quick ad because I think it's important to add a Jason movie to this. So
Okay.
literally going off the cuff here. So Jason Goes to Hell came out in 1993. Have you seen Jason Goes to Hell? Do
I
you
have.
remember it?
Yes.
Uh, uh, for what I remember, it was a good movie
It was.
because it was called Jason Goes to Hell. Uh,
I hated the mask on that one though. Did he have the steel mask or
yeah,
whatever?
steel
I
mask.
wasn't into the mask.
But like it has a badass looking
Well,
the
that's
poster was
because the
great.
whole concept of Jason was he was taking over other people's bodies and they were doing the killings. There wasn't a whole lot of Jason actually in this
Yeah.
movie. So for that fact alone, is one of my least favorite Jasons. It's not the worst. It's still probably in the top 5. But it's not. If I'm going to go watch a Jason movie, probably not the one I pick.
So little budget of 3 mil, made 15.9,
Hey, better than Leprechaun.
better than Leprechaun. Let's check some scoring on it. Let's find out what we let's see how terrible it was. Oh, who is it starring? It starred nobody I know. I don't know besides Kane Hodder who does.
Yeah, well, he's Jason.
He does him.
Everybody knows that.
Uh,
He's still promoting himself as Jason today.
I mean, I would too.
Like he's all over Facebook. You can do like little shoots with him and stuff.
All right.
Shout out to Kane Hooder, guys.
Yeah. All right. It's got a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, yeah, people go into this movie expecting to see a lot of Jason, and it's people killing other people. So
It's yeah. It just caught my eye. I was thinking about Jason.
no,
We
I
didn't
mean
have
that's
any.
fine.
It's like we don't have any Freddy in here either.
Unfortunately, and the Freddy franchise is one of my favorites.
I do like because I'm deathly afraid of the dark
Mhm.
and sleeping scares the fuck out of me. I don't want to die in my sleep. So yeah.
Fun fact: did you know that that's one of Johnny Depp's first movies? Was Nightmare on Elm Street the very first one?
Yeah, that was before Edward Scissorhands and all that
He
shit.
he played Glenn, Nancy's boyfriend. So he's the one that gets sucked into the water
Sucked
bed.
into the bed.
Mhm.
Oh fuck that. Oh, I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
So many people don't know that's Johnny because of how young he is in that movie.
He's handsome then.
He's so handsome back then.
Still handsome.
Still
Got
handsome.
a lot of bracelets though.
Yeah,
He
even
likes
the
to
eyeliner.
accessorize.
Yeah,
He's an accessorizer.
yeah, he is a very good accessorizer.
So
He's a
moving
terrible
on
Johnny Depp.
to our next movie that's on our list. This is one of my personal favorites.
It's one of my least favorites in this franchise.
You don't like the original one?
Oh, the original one? Sorry, on my screen I need to really follow the segment thing, don't I?
Yeah, like we just did
Alright.
Leprechaun. Go to the next
Go
one.
down, okay. Yes, this is one of my favorite 90s movies as well.
This is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
I'm not a huge fan of the franchise as a whole, but the first 2 are great. 3 is
I
alright.
like the franchise as a whole. I even like, and we're talking about Scream, by the way. I hate how we do this for like 12 minutes and then drop the name.
Well, because people can. I mean, you kind of figure out what we're talking about.
Yeah, you figure it out. But we're talking about Scream, guys. I mean, even the remakes they were making with Miss Jenny Ortega, which is a goddess. God,
She's
like,
in the original.
Jenny Ortega? No, she's not. She's probably like 4 years old when it came out.
Jenna Ortega is in the original movie.
I don't think that's the original, bro.
That's his film franchise.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think that's the original, bro. She was probably like 4 years old when that came out. There you go. That looks better, right? No Jenny Ortega.
No Jenny Ortega.
I know, because
I
it'd
don't know
be
who she is, so I
impossible.
just
You watched the Wednesday Addams show on Netflix, right?
mm-mm. Yeah, I watched the first couple
That's
seasons
Jenny
episodes.
Ortega, and she plays in the new movies as well. And yeah,
How old is she?
old enough.
All right, yeah, she's
Old
pretty hot.
enough,
Um,
I think. Please look her up, make sure we're not pedophiles.
yeah, all right. I don't want to be a pedophile.
I think she's like in her 20s.
She's 22.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So she just has
For
the
4 years, I could be
Christina.
this guy.
Exactly. So she just has the Christina Ricci thing going on.
No, she's way better looking.
I've just talked about her looking young.
Yeah.
All
Oh yeah.
That's why she was perfect to play Wednesday.
Yeah. So, Scream released in 1996.
Mm-hmm.
It
A
starred.
historic cast.
I mean-
like, great God. Courtney Cox, Matthew Leonard.
Yep. Drew Barrymore for one scene.
Yeah, and that was crazy because the way they promoted the show was on the poster as you're going to go watch this movie. Drew Barrymore's on the poster. And then you go
She's
in
like
there.
she's not front and center, but she's one of the first people you see on the poster.
The
if you're
way
looking
they
left or right.
set this poster up, you think she's the main star. And then she gets gutted, literally, in the first scene.
But you got Nev Campbell,
Mm-hmm.
David Arquette,
David Arquette.
My-
World champion, by the way.
WCW. God rest its soul. You know who stole the show for the whole movie for me? Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy. Yeah, bro. Jamie Kennedy was great in that movie.
Leaf Shriver's even in it.
Even in the
Like, this blows my mind that this movie had this much like
star power.
star power.
Even in the scary movie franchise where they're making fun of Scream,
I love those movies too. By
even
the way,
the guy who's playing Jamie Kennedy's character, even that's like the best part of the Scream movie.
yeah. I mean, stud lineup, great movie. It released in 1996 with a budget of $15 million, made $173 million bucks, pretty good return.
Mm-hmm.
IMDb gives it a 7.4.
Mm-hmm.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it an 81.
Nice. I agree. So, Jonathan, how do you rate it? Let me do it. So, out of 1996, well, how many movies was there? Nah, 96 is
I
cooler.
feel like you're going off the cuff here a little bit. I had one more. I had some tidbit. I had
All right,
something
well,
else
go
to
ahead
say.
on your tidbits, bro.
Justin,
Yeah, I'm getting excited, man.
do you like scary movies?
I like scary. I love scary movies.
Justin, what's your favorite scary movie?
Probably Nightmare on Elm Street. The guy with the fingers.
Yeah.
The guy with the knives for fingers. That's how she says it.
That's how she says it.
Mm-hmm.
This is one I want to go back and rewatch because I haven't watched it in probably 15 years. I'm gonna watch Scream again. I
You
might watch
should.
Scream tonight.
You should.
Maybe put Pokemon on pause for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But I gotta tell you, Pokemon. I'm in 2002.
Jesus.
I'm in the Johto Championships, and
Mhm.
it's captivating TV.
Okay, well, this is October, and we need to get off of
Fucking
Pokemon. buddy.
Captivating TV here.
God.
All right. So, what do you do this one out of? Let's see. Scream. Let's just look at Scream franchise. Scream. So there's 6 of them. 6 of them.
Even including the new ones? Because I know there's 4 old ones for sure, at least 4. And then, yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah, there's Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 5. Oh, you know what? Scream 7 releases in 2026, so we'll throw that one out
Speaking of
there.
Scream, did you ever watch the TV series?
Isn't that the one that 2022? Isn't that the one recent?
No,
Oh,
that
that
was
was a
the
movie.
TV show. I think that was the movie. But on MTV, they had the Scream TV
I
show.
remember seeing it. I
I
never
thought
watched
it was great. I thought the concept was brilliant. I'm sad they canceled that too. And I thought it was going to be lame. I was prepared to hate it, and I got into it.
You got into it?
Yeah.
So,
The thing I appreciate about Scream, Jonathan, is probably the concept of the movie. The whole time this movie's going on, they're going over horror movie concepts, going over
We
rules.
haven't even talked about the villain in this movie.
And well, that's what I'm saying. Like they're
You know
going.
what? You're right. The first couple, we didn't touch on much story. The floor is yours, bro. Paint us a picture.
So essentially, in Scream, you have a high school situation where one of the students gets murdered. And then you have all of the students murmuring and talking about their theories on what happened, like high schoolers do. Um, Meanwhile, they're trying to think of it in their head as a horror film. So they're going over all these scenarios and what they shouldn't do and who's going to be next and all this stuff brought up by the Jamie Kennedy character because he plays in a movie shop. So he's a movie nerd. So he's explaining all these rules to everybody. And as he's explaining these rules, everything he's saying is coming into fruition. And then we find out it's just two high school students who got together because they wanted to become famous for becoming serial killers. So I mean that whole concept is something that could absolutely happen. It's I like it, man.
I
It was a
enjoy it
smart
too.
concept.
And the idea of Ghostface, that mask that they
Yeah,
create in
just
the
a
movie.
little cheap Halloween toy you can go to any Dollar General and buy for
I
ten
won as
bucks.
Ghostface that year. I was 6. I was probably 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going as Ghostface. It's just cool. It's
Yeah,
just a great fucking movie.
it is.
Uh, so we're gonna give it some respect. This one's getting out of 10. So what would you
Um,
rate it at a
I
10 there,
don't
guy?
give anything a 10,
Why?
but
Let me
they
ask you why. What is your 10? What's your perfect movie then? Because there has to be a bar that you just will never surpass.
I haven't seen it yet. It has to have like every single actor in it has to be top tier and personal favorites. It has to be a personal connection to the plot, and there has to be some interest in it. It has to make
So
sense.
no
I don't
movie's
know.
been perfect for you.
No,
No, for you.
there's no such thing as a perfect movie. I don't think, man. And if there is, I can't think of it right now. And if I can't think of it right now, is it the perfect movie? Because it's not very memorable. So if I think of the perfect movie and I watch it, I'll let you know. But here's the thing, I can't say for sure a movie is a 10 where I watch it and I might think it's a 10, but whenever I want to suggest it to someone else that they go watch it, there's going to be some contempt in my heart. Are they going to like it as much as I am? Maybe they won't like it for this reason. And there's always going to be some doubt not making it perfect.
But that has nothing to do with your rating, though. Your personal rating.
So to answer your question, what are we rating it out of?
We're rating it at a 10.
Out of 10. Okay. So, based on everything I told you about the concept of the movie and why I appreciate the plot, based off the franchise still surviving 30 years later, essentially, all of the star power that came out of this movie, the references, the cult following, everything, the budgets, the money that was made in this movie, everything leads to this movie being a solid 9.5. So I don't know why you're bitching at me for zero point 0.5 points, but yeah, I'm giving it a 9.5.
I think it's perfect.
So you're giving it a 10, I assume.
No, because I have a bar.
Okay.
The perfect movie is Goodfellas.
See?
10 out
No.
of 10.
I wouldn't even give it a fucking 8. So
I
there
know
you go.
that's you. Let's see how it's personal though.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, out of every movie on here, this is my second favorite movie. Yeah. Yeah, third. So I'm gonna give it a 9.6.
9.6. And it was made in 96, so good.
Look at that.
Cool.
Moving on.
What's a 9.5? That was close.
I know. It's a great movie.
It was a great.
We rated it higher than everything so far.
All right, so next is Halloween 2.0, right?
Halloween 2.0? You mean
Yeah.
Halloween H2O?
Yes, Halloween H2O.
Halloween
Which-
H2O.
The thing that
20
bothers
years later.
the thing that bothers me the most about this is the name.
Why? It's Halloween H2O.
H2O. Every time I talk about this movie, I think of Waterboy. H2O! Gatorade.
Water sucks.
It really, really sucks. Water. Yeah, just I don't like the H2O part. I think it's dumb. I'll see what they're going with. Whatever.
Well, so it's Halloween H2O.
Mm-hmm.
20 years later. So the
Yes.
age 20 it should be. It's age 20, Halloween 20 years.
We should have just got rid of the H.
They should
I
have just
understand, like
they
I
should have just
said.
called it Halloween 20 years later
Yeah,
and never got the
that
H2O
sounds
because
better.
it's
But it
yes.
was the 90s. They were trying to be out there, you
But
know.
this movie was released in what 90, 98?
Do you know LL Cool J was in this one?
I did.
Jamie Lee Curtis, everybody already knows that.
Josh Hartnett,
Josh Hartnett.
which is a late 90s, early 2000s like man crush of mine.
Mhm.
Then you got Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I saw that.
If
I never knew
he
he was in this movie. I didn't. I guess he's very young back then.
I mean, if you don't know who he is, you
You
don't really. You
should.
should. I mean, he's been. I would say, what his mid 2000s run with Don
Mhm.
John, 500 Days of Summer, 10 things. He was in. Well, hell, he was in 10 Things I Hate About You, Inception,
Looper.
Looper, Snowden.
I mean, dude,
Yeah, he's awesome.
he's
Angels
a-
in the Outfield.
yeah, he was the kid from Angels
You know,
in
he
the
really
Outfield.
was a banger in the 90s. Him.
He's a cutie. I'm just saying. Like
Not
no
my
homo.
type.
He's a cute fellow.
He's a cute
I
fella.
was not saying handsome because he's very boyish looking. That's
He's got
why I'm
his
using the
boyish
word
charms.
cute. Yeah, he looks like he's 16 even though he's like 50 now.
So, this movie had a small little budget, 17 million.
Mm-hmm.
It only made 75 million bucks at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the worst Halloween movie of all time because like 3 through 15 were all terrible. But as one that had like I feel like it had like a lot of so what I'm looking for, like when it was coming out, it was hyped. I feel like it was hyped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the first movie I remember. This and Scream were like the ones I remember like seeing commercials for and seeing stuff like that. And this movie felt like it was so hyped then.
Well, just like everything else we touch on in the 90s, this movie specifically really focused on trying to get towards the mainstream because it was Halloween, 20 years later. So they really hit hard on those subtle, like technological advances they've made in those 20 years.
I think it's the worst looking Michael Myers though too.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. I don't like that old school. My favorite Michael Myers is probably the one from the Rob Zombie one everybody hates.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a kid. I like the kid when he's with his clown mask on.
Yeah.
I hate clowns. They fuck with me so
Yeah.
bad.
That's why you need to watch The Terrifier, man. It's great. It is great.
I want to be able to sleep at night.
You would
sometimes.
not. It is rough.
So it's kind of right in the middle of this movie. IMDb gives it a 5.8. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 56. And I really think that's about where it is. I think it's not that great. It's not terrible. It's watchable.
Mm-hmm.
It's average.
Mm-hmm. I think it's slowly below average, so I'm going to give it a 48.
I'll just out of what?
100.
Man, our rating scale was all over the place right
All
now.
right, so let's do it out of 20 since it's Halloween 20 out of 20. So out of 20, I'm going to give it a 8.
I'm gonna give it a 9.3. Cool.
Cool.
So
Personal favorite time coming up.
Well,
this is one of my favorites.
because we were kids in the 90s, I think these 5 movies hit a little harder. Besides maybe
Yes.
one for you, I think you
I'm not onto the bandwagon movies, and we'll get there. And that's how I view it.
But we're gonna start back in 1991
Mm-hmm. Going in reverse.
with a Back to the Future. I mean, wait a minute.
Christopher Lloyd.
Well, that's what caught me off guard here.
So yeah, Mr. Christopher, the iconic Christopher Lloyd, great Scott, plays in this movie. He plays Uncle Fester,
Which is the best character ever.
who's my doppelganger.
He's a little bit better looking.
Yeah, a little bit. He's a cutie.
And then a little girl named Christina Ricci.
Yes, literally a little girl back then.
If she
And
was a child.
yeah, and she played the Wednesday character beautifully. She made it an iconic character.
And once again, we were talking about the Addams Family.
Yes,
Released
once again.
in 1991 with a budget of $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
Made $191.5 million.
Okay.
That's a pretty good return on
Yeah.
investment. Reviews, it's kind of above average. You get to 6.9
Mhm.
and 67 from Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, I think out of all of the Addams Family, out of the entire franchise, starting all the way back to the TV show way back in the day, I think this one has the most iconic versions of each character.
I was seeing if I get the snap on.
You have that you have what's his name? The Julia guy, Raul Julia, playing Gomez, and the way he plays Gomez is great.
Oh, that's the best Gomez.
Yeah,
He's the best
absolutely.
Gomez.
And then Angelica, I can't think of her last name, Huston or Houston. She is the best Morticia out of the entire franchise. She makes that character. And then we just talked about Christopher Lloyd. So I mean, I can go on and on. It's just a great movie. The cast is great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say great, but I'd say good.
It's one of my favorites.
Uh, I
It's just a fun watch for adults and kids.
Yeah, I'm not an Addams Family guy.
I know, you've told us.
I like the Munsters.
I did like the Munsters, not gonna
I'm
lie.
more of that's like I remember like Nick at Night and just that was on. Like that was awesome.
You know, the guy from the Monsters, that's the guy from Pet Cemetery, by
Yeah.
the way. Great.
So
That's my impression of him. Just,
I mean that was perfect. So Justin,
yeah.
what are you giving Addams Family out of
Like I told you, I'm a
out of a
little
91?
out of 91. Like I told you, I'm a little biased to watch this movie a lot growing up. I mentioned the cast and everything I mentioned. I am going to give it out of 91, 1789. No, yes, 1789 because I already gave Silence of 11, 1812, and I can't go higher than that.
So 1789.
Yes.
I'm gonna give it. Man, I really just don't think it's that great of a movie. A 995.
Hmm?
995
Really?
AD.
You thought it was that bad?
I tried watching it again, dude. I don't like it.
That's saying it's bad.
I think
Not
it's a
that
bad.
you
I think it's
just
the
don't
worst
like
movie on
it.
this list so far.
I disagree with that full-heartedly. I think that's inaccurate.
I think it's the worst movie on the list so far.
Your opinion's not valid. Let's move on.
I'm not a big fan of the next movie either. It's just
I'm,
iconic.
I'm also not. The best thing I like about this movie is it came out in 1993 and Kevin's mom plays in it.
We're talking Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
And the only thing good about the movie is Christmas.
Yeah. Fun fact, I don't know, because you know this show or this movie has a big following itself. So there's a lot of diehard Nightmare Before Christmas fans. There's a lot of people with the tattoos. How
Yeah.
how many of you knew that Carol from The Walking Dead played on this movie? Because
Well,
I sure as
she
hell
voice
didn't.
acted in the movie.
Well, that's the same thing.
Yeah, it's not
She-
live
she
action.
played
It's like
in it.
claymation.
That still said play. You're playing a part, even if you're voice acting, sir. Who else did I mention? So we got Carol, we got Kevin's mom. Oh, Pee Wee Herman's in this one too. He plays Locke.
Which makes it kind of cool.
Yeah.
But overall, if you haven't seen Nightmare Before Christmas, you kind of have to see it.
Mm-hmm. It's a claymation.
It had, which is crazy. So this is an animated film, I guess.
It's a
Technically.
Tim Burton film as well, guys.
And I'm not a big, but I like Beetlejuice. So I can't really
Yeah.
say I'm not a huge Tim Burton guy, and I like the Batman movies.
Well, I actually watched a documentary on Tim Burton, and I thought it was great, dude. Like, I like him more as a person now, just because of the documentary.
Well, I'm just basing him on his movies. I don't know
Yeah.
him as a person.
He's
but,
out there. I like different people, and he's definitely different.
You know what? It blew my mind though. It had a budget of $18 million.
Okay.
Made
Generous.
and it made 101 million.
Whoa.
Not bad.
Not bad. That's great.
I mean, Adam's Family made more.
That's like $100,000.
It's like 100 million, bro.
Call back.
Callback, shouting about. But I mean, maybe I just misses the mark with me because I was so young when it came out. Oh, I know the timeout.
Whoa.
Cowboys are terrible, by the way.
Holy.
And Detroit's the best team in the NFL.
Bro. I had Dallas defense in one of my leagues,
Oh,
man. That was
stupid.
dumb.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, let me turn away from the screen. Go
I
back.
mean,
I'm
Dallas
sorry.
is almost as bad as Nightmare Before Christmas.
Woo. Anyway.
Anyway, everybody seemed to like it though.
Yeah.
It has 7.9 on IMDb,
Mm-hmm.
and Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 95%.
I've never seen that before.
95%.
That is unreal. I think we're the 5% that don't like the movie
I mean,
in this room.
It's not terrible.
So that's why I'm assuming you're about to ask me what I want to rate it.
Well, what would you like to rate it out of? I'd like to rate it out of I guess at a 90, just 93, not 1993, 93.
All right, so out of 93, I'm going to take my personal opinion because I mean, I already told you I don't like the movie for whatever reason.
So don't take it out of there. When you're rating a movie yourself, that's your personal opinion.
What I will say, Jonathan,
Just to
like
interrupt
every
you.
time I want to give you my opinion, you interrupt me and tell me to give you a different opinion. I'm giving you my
Well,
opinion,
what's your
guy.
opinion, guy?
My opinion is based solely off of the following and the people that still are in love with this movie, even though it only had a couple sequels. It's not like it went well
Did
into
it
the
have sequels?
2000s. Yeah, it had at least one. Um, so with that being said, you have it seems like 6 out of 10 girls have Jack Skellington tattoos or decor in their house. All right, Jonathan, cool. Stop shaking your fucking head. There's not a second movie. I was wrong. Big deal. God damn it. So, anyways, with that being said, because of how much people love this movie and how much they're into this movie, there's an entire culture around it. I'm giving it a 91.
That's almost a
No,
perfect
out of a
score.
93? No, I can't do that. Let's do
Yeah.
88.
So this is then by math, this is your rating is the highest that every movie watched.
I will give it as proper respect. I mean, a lot of people like it, and just because I don't like the movie, I'm not going to say it's a horrible movie. And honestly, I probably haven't given it a fair chance and sat down and watched the whole movie. But people are nuts about this movie, and it does have a good cast. And yeah, I'm comfortable giving it an 88
Damn.
based on where it sits in the movie spectrum and the zeitgeist.
So just so everybody knows, you've rated that higher than every movie so far
Which,
by math.
yeah, but our ranking system also doesn't make sense.
It does. But you're giving this like a 9.7.
I think, yeah, because it should go higher than Adam's Family and the Zeitgeist, in my opinion. Higher than Halloween's. Probably not higher than Scream or Silence of the Lambs to me. But yeah, I think it's third out of all the movies we're doing. I think it's in third place.
All right. I'm going to give it a 67.
That's low, bro. But okay.
It's a 6 out of 9. It's a 75.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not really low.
Whatever.
It's a 66. I mean,
You just like trying to correct people today. You're looking on one today.
what? I think you're just in a pissy mood for some reason. Like
God.
you didn't jerk off. Did you get laid last night, didn't you?
Yes.
What the hell's wrong with you?
You're correcting me, and it's irritating.
Well, you're wrong.
Okay, cool. Let other people say that. I hear it enough from you.
No, you don't. You're never around anymore.
Stop being a little bitch.
It's like I have to do this now. I have to be as mean as I can to you because you're a bitch and you're never around anymore.
Whatever.
So what's gonna piss me off is now that we're
By the way, guys,
we have three
what we're
movies
doing
coming
right
up.
now is one of the reasons we decided to do a podcast because we expected this. The fact that we went 4 episodes with no bickering is kind of
Well, we had a little bit. We didn't make.
we didn't release it. We
because
should
Fucking
have.
shit was terrible.
We should have because I got heated.
But no, I'm getting heated because the next. How are you gonna rate this shitty fucking movie higher than every other fucking movie so far? And then we have the 3 movies left. You're not gonna be able to rate them higher because you're gonna have to give them perfect scores in.
Dude, I've already put a disclaimer out there that my scores don't matter. They make no sense.
Well, they're
But
supposed to matter.
and I told you,
You know, we had a guy who messaged us
Okay.
because they like the way we review things.
exactly. So why are you cutting down what I'm saying, bro? I talked it out. My scoring, the reason why I scored, I gave you reasons why I
I
scored.
don't think
it.
Nick's real.
Oh my god.
He wants us. So Nick messaged us back and wants us to. Let me look. I'm not gonna click your link, Nick. Sorry, bro. Ralphie is the corner scorer guy in 1979. What the? It's a song. It's an album. We'll have to check it out. I'm not. That's a little awkward. Sorry, Nick.
That's-
Bro, just throwing it out there. If you're real,
What's the little clown artwork about?
I'm a little creeped out right now.
This is weird.
I'm weirded out.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Moving on.
Moving on.
A movie that I watch every year.
I watch
That
it
I have
here.
traveled to Salem, Mass, because this movie was parts were filmed there.
This came out the year I was born. I know it was playing the year like while I was alive, and I've watched it every single year since I've been on this earth.
And that's fucking Hocus Pocus.
Yes. Another cult classic. I know I keep using that word, but a lot of them came from the 80s and 90s. That's where a lot of
For our
these,
generation, at
yeah.
least.
So I mean, starring Bette Midler, Miss Bette Midler, who does great. Sarah Jessica Parker was also one of the Sanderson
Horseface.
sisters. Yeah, loved her in this movie though.
Who's the other horse? I mean, the other Sanderson sister.
I can't remember her name, but she's actually my favorite Sanderson sister. She plays on like the Greek,
But she's
my
like the
fat
least.
Greek wedding movies and all
She's like
that.
the least known. No.
It's not that she's she is the most least known, but she's in a bunch of certain type of
Kathy
movies.
Najimai?
Yeah, she was in a recent movie I watched.
Kathy
Actually.
Jimai.
Yeah.
Nijai? I'm probably not saying that right at all. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus 2, which I haven't seen yet.
She was in Sister Act.
Classic 90s. Sister Act 2. I didn't know there was a Sister Act 3.
I didn't know she was in King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
Right.
She's the best. She's the best on this whole show. King of the Hill. Wedding Planner.
Oh, she's in Rat Race. That's what I remember.
Oh, Rat Race.
She was.
I can't wait to get to the 2000s.
She was Dude's wife.
Yep.
Dude from Saturday Night Live. What's his name? Joseph something. Joseph Levitt. No, Gordon Levitt. It's not Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's the other guy. Whatever. Doesn't matter. John Lovitz. That's what I was thinking.
John Lovitz. I love him. He's
I
awesome.
love John Lovitz.
Yeah, I can't wait to the 2000s. There's a
I
lot
love
of good
it,
fucking
Tim.
movies in the 2000s. Came out with a little budget of $28 million,
Yeah.
but only made $50 million.
Yeah.
Didn't even double their money.
No, but that's fine because I mean this is a slow burn movie. It gathered speed in the years to come.
Yeah, I don't think it was as good back in the day until our generation got old enough to pay money and buy things.
And there was another actor from this movie who you may not all know his name, guys.
But you do know him.
You do know him. He's the voice of Disney back in the 90s and the 2000s. He played in this. He played in the Goofy movies.
Weekenders.
The Weekenders.
Early 2000s.
And what's his name? Jason Mrazek. What's his name?
Marsden.
Jason Marsden. Like I said, I barely know his name.
He's an actor, director, and producer.
Yeah, I mean he's just his voice is Disney in the 90s. Whenever I hear it,
And he also, in the 2000s, took over doing a lot of DC. Did DC showcase Jonah Hex? Did a bunch of the Batman DC like anime movies. Did Gotham Knight? Like he's pretty cool.
yeah, I think he played in a bunch of the Garfield movies too.
Like, sweet. Now this movie, like I said, didn't do really well at the box office. IMDb gives it a 6.9, which isn't terrible, but the fucktards at Rotten Tomatoes give it a 40%. And Thackeray Binks is amazing,
Yes,
and that movie, I mean, is a great movie. And I've been to the cemetery he ran through. They chased him through, and I've been to the houses.
Oh, and the guy who plays Billy,
Billy, the guy.
he's in a bunch of stuff too. He's one of those body actors they call him. So he normally doesn't have lines, but he plays a bunch of like skin thinning, like creature type characters in a bunch of different movies. I don't know what that movie is, but it's with those thin, faceless creatures with the eyeballs on his hands. He plays one of those guys.
That's creepy, whatever that
Yeah.
is. But yeah, so fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, fuck you, Rotten Tomatoes.
Hocus Pocus, out of 28, what would you give it?
Out of 28?
That's the budget. Just really fucking with things right now.
Out of 28, I'll give it a 19.8.
Damn, that's like a shit score.
Oh, dude, you're fucking no matter. Are you gonna bitch about everything I fucking say?
I mean, I might, because you're rating that way lower than everything
I'm
else.
gonna give everything a 0 after this.
So I'm gonna give it, out of 28, I'm gonna give it a 25.
That's almost a perfect score, Jonathan.
It's
Are you sure?
Fucking great movie. Yeah, it's better than Nightmare Before fucking douchebags.
Fuck.
Yes, I wish you guys could see Justin right now. He looks so frazzled. He knows I'm fucking with him, but he cannot just breathe and not realize I'm just fucking with him.
Fuck you.
But I gotta ask, You like this movie? You like?
It's one of my favorite movies. I don't know why I give it a 19.8, whatever. I figured if I said 21, you would bitch that was too high.
I was
So I
thinking
went
I was thinking
19.
27, bro.
So it's one of my favorite. I literally watch it every year because I do enjoy this
That's what I'm
movie.
saying. So I'm gonna give you you're gonna give it a 28.6.8.
28, 6.8. Okay.
26.8.
Okay, I'll
No,
go
I'm
with it.
just fucking with you.
I was hoping you would say out of 100 because I wanted to give it a 93.
All right, so you're getting
That's what I
93.
wanted to do.
So I know this is why I know you're terrible with math. That's why I'm fucking with you with the ratings because I know you have no idea what the math adds up to. So like 19 out of 28 is like a 3 out of 4. No, I'm bad at math
So
now.
that's almost a 75.
But said not a 93.
Okay, whatever.
So you're gonna give it a 93 out of 100,
Okay.
and I'm gonna give it a 92.7 out of 100.
Okay.
I gotta take a pause. Oh, you heard it here, guys. Justin loves Nightmare Before Christmas. He's gonna go masturbate to it later.
Dude, shut up about the fucking movie.
So moving on to 1995.
Yes. Another Christina Ricci movie.
It's 90s. She's got to be there.
Yeah, that's where she made her. She's in this list 3 times, bro.
And this is a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Hold on. Is she the only actress or actor that's in this 3 times? I think so. So shout out to you. Good job, girl.
Was she in this 3 times?
Yeah. So she was in Addams Family.
Yeah.
She was in Casper. And then what was the other one?
She wasn't in another one.
I thought there was one more.
No. No. You haven't been paying attention because you're all frazzled.
Oh, whatever. All right.
We're talking Casper, the saddest story ever about a little boy who passes away and never gets to dance or fall in love, and he meets this wonderful girl, and this movie just pulls at my heartstrings.
Yeah, and
I cry.
30 minutes into the movie, he gets a girl on his bed.
I mean, he's pimp,
Casper's
dude.
balling, bro. Bill Pullman's also in this one, another good 90s actor, by the way.
And this was something cool.
Yeah.
This-
This is one of the movies I rewatched recently, and it was fun rewatching it. There's a lot that I forgot about this movie, so it was fun. So whenever you talked about doing Casper, in my mind, I was actually thinking of the 1998 version, which is the Casper meets Wendy. That's where Lizzie McGuire, Hilary Duff plays in it. That's the one I had in my head, and then I went back and rewatched it. And it's like, oh, great, glad I rewatched this because I would have been embarrassed on the show.
Oh, I've never even heard of that one.
No, it's a good one, dude. That's one of my favorites. Casper meets Wendy.
I mean, Hilary Duff's in it.
Yeah, little Lizzie McGuire.
Oh, who's Casper in it?
I don't know. But speaking of Casper, in the Christina Ricci version, that was the first time ever that Casper's voice was played by a boy. Before that, it was always a girl.
So
Eh,
that's pretty crazy. I didn't realize that.
You
But I
know,
guess
and the boy who played the voice was also in the Final Destination movies.
yes, he was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Something else cool about this movie is it's the only movie I'd say fucking killed it at the box office. So this movie cost $55 million bucks, but made $288 million.
Bro, talk about a come up.
I mean,
Christina Ricci was bringing in money in the 90s, man.
I just think that story just tugs on you, dude. Think about
Mhm.
it. Little boy
Yeah.
dies. He passes away so early in life.
All those years tucked away. And those bullies, man. Those
Like
3 other
I'm tearing up
ghosts.
thinking about it. Fuck those other.
Fatso, Stretch, and what was the other one?
I don't know.
Jerks. Man, Stinky. Stinky, Stretch,
Yeah,
and Fatso.
They end up not being jerks though.
Yeah, they're not, but they started off. Well, for years they were jerks.
For years and years.
For
I mean,
years
for
and
however
years.
long they were dead for. I really don't.
Centuries they were jerks. But
But for all that love that we're giving it and the money that it made, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 52.
yeah, they didn't love it. And I don't wonder how much money it made in the box office. How could they convert it into a 52 percentile
I don't think
score?
they give a fuck about that shit.
I,
I think there's a bunch of critics who have no idea what the fuck
I
they're
don't
talking
think they
about.
watch these movies, to be honest with you.
But out of Casper the Friendly Ghost, how many Caspers do you give it?
I give it Out of how many Caspers? 288.
Let's do 100 Casper, so your math's gonna be right.
Out of 100 Caspers, I will give it I will give it 81 Caspers and 3 Wendy's.
So that's at 92.7.
It's just a 91.
All right.
No, wait. What did I say the original score was?
You said 81 Caspers and 3 Wendy's.
It's just 81.
Just an 81.
Wendy's not worth shit. JK. I love Wendy.
I mean, it's Hillary Duff. That's all I'm thinking about
All
right
right,
now.
she's a decimal. It's 81.5.
I'll give you an 81.54. I'm gonna give this one a 96.
Okay. Cool. So you're really into that whole story, man. It really did tug at your heartstrings.
did.
You weren't bullshitting.
This is probably my favorite movie on this list, next to Scream.
You're such a weird movie person, man. I swear. I mean, it's a good movie,
It's
but
fucking great. I mean, it's not as good as the next movie.
yeah. So this is one of your personal favorites. You've told me. This is also one of those iconic Disney Channel Halloween movies.
And there was so many to choose from.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one just, I think, is probably the biggest. There's Under Wraps. There's, what other fucking other one? My Mom Dating a Vampire.
If you line 10 people up and ask them to name a Halloween movie from Disney, they're probably going to say HalloweenTown.
And then Hocus Pocus, but even though that was just made by Disney, it wasn't a Disney. This is like remember when Disney Channel in the late '90s was giving us
Yeah.
Johnny Tsunami and
This was like the
fucking Johnny
legit,
Tsunami
the legit Disney Channel
and Brink.
movies.
Remember Brink?
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
Brink, man.
Dude, Brink's awesome.
Smart House, like there's a bunch of good movies, man.
So '98, I'm 9 years old, so I'm
Mhm.
that perfect demographic for this movie. That's why this, and I love Disney Channel at 9. This movie was awesome, and
That's 5.
it had a great budget of $4 million, and there was no box office because that shit was straight to Disney Channel.
Yeah, and the iconic Debbie Reynolds is in this movie.
Debbie Reynolds, and then the chick who plays the main character.
Yeah, I don't know her name. But
Uh,
she looks like the chick that plays in Ned's Declassified. I think they're the same person, even though they're not.
That's a good. Kimberly J. Brown plays Marnie.
They have very similar jaw lines, those two ladies.
Yeah, she kind of looks like Easy A. What's her name? You know what Easy I'm talking about?
No, she does not. You're thinking of Emma Stone? No.
No, not Emma. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Ugh, God,
Young
no.
Emma Stone before Emma Stone got
No,
hot.
I don't see that. I think she's more like, who did I say now? You
I don't
threw me off.
Yeah, I didn't know who you were talking about.
Yeah, you do. God, what did I say?
I mean, you want me to rewind it? Because I'm not going to.
God,
This shit's
okay.
going straight to fucking live right after this. I'm like clicking.
No, you still got to post the last episode.
I'm not posting the wrestling episode until after Halloween.
Oh, okay.
I want because we go every 2 weeks. So this one's gonna be perfect. It's a little. This is like right at 2 weeks.
Okay.
Or I could post that one today and then not post this one for 2 more weeks.
Now we'll go ahead and do this one for
I'm posting
Halloween.
this one 'cause it's Halloween, spooky season.
Ooh, cute
But-
ghost.
Off topic here. This movie, IMDb gives it a 6.6, but Rotten Tomatoes comes in strong. This is
Mhm.
why. See how I respect them.
They finally watched the movie.
83%, which I think is a little crazy, honestly. Because they gave Casper a 52.
Mm-hmm.
They gave Hocus Pocus a 40. Nightmare Before Christmas a 95. Adam's Family a 67. But they gave HalloweenTown an 83.
Who were these critics?
I have no idea who they are.
I really don't think they watch movies, man. Like, I think they're just throwing scores out there.
Do you think they're just random?
Yeah, they have to be, dude. They make no numerical sense. Speaking of numerical sense, what percentile are you throwing it in?
I'm going to give it a 98 of 100.
Wow. So you think this is the very best movie on the list?
I think it's the best movie on the list. The best children's movie on the list.
Yeah. You know what? There are
But that's all nostalgia, dude.
There are a lot of people that love this movie. It was never one of my favorites, but I did go back and start watching it the other night. Only got halfway through it, but I did like what I saw.
Hey, Bug, what happened? Why'd you only get halfway through?
It was nice seeing Debbie Reynolds, and I mean, it was a cute movie for what I saw and remembered it for. So I mean, I didn't watch it a whole lot myself, so I can only give it a 7.9. I know that'll upset people.
So a 79?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know how this movie equated to what took your attention away from this movie. It's not really a movie I'm watching to get into the mood.
Well, yeah, I didn't say what I was.
You know what my
doing.
movie was?
Hmm.
Speaking of that movie,
Hmm.
The Departed.
Well, it was already. Yeah. What?
That was my movie.
That got you in the mood?
No, but girls, women,
Bend over that sap, boy. Ooh, dude, I'm so hot right now.
but women did not enjoy that movie. Like in my generation, when we were younger, so they'd get bored of it. And I mean, I'm talking pre-Netflix and chill, bro. I'm talking my DVD collection. No, The
The
Departed, not. What the fuck are you talking about?
Burt Reynolds movie. It's also this.
No,
Are you talking about where they go down into the cave?
no, The Departed with Leonardo DiCaprio and
Oh, gay.
what?
See, that's why I thought you were literally like, I thought it was funny. I thought you were talking about the Burt Reynolds movie from like the 70s or 80s.
The Departed from 2006.
Oh, cool.
Mark Wahlberg, Matt Damon.
Oh, cool.
91 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Awesome.
You've never seen it, have you?
No.
Really? It's long. It's 2.5 hours. That's hard to keep your attention that long.
Yeah, it is.
But
Squirrel.
squirrel?
Hmm?
What?
Oh, football.
Football. Oh,
We're podcasting.
Panthers got crushed.
I don't care.
Shout out to Penn State beating USC this weekend.
Mm,
And shout out to Jordan Love, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, knocking down Arizona.
nice.
And shout out to South Carolina being the only team that I know that should have beat LSU, Georgia, and Alabama in the same season.
But we haven't played Georgia yet. So,
That was last year.
but yeah,
that's-
we
yeah.
should have beat.
They don't play Georgia this year.
No, we don't. That's dumb. But yeah, dude, our
Oh, here it is.
record.
Speaking of it,
I think we're
look at
very.
this. Boom.
I think we're very underrated.
You too.
I think we're still Carolina.
Do you know who played today, right?
who?
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, all right. You acted like you were like going to tell me like you didn't know I was going to tell
Well,
you.
you keep
Spencer.
interrupting me, and it's irritating a little bit.
I know. I'm doing it on purpose. All right, back to the pod. Justin,
Yes.
would you like to play a little game?
I like games.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I like games too. And we're talking about horror movies. I'm thinking I want you to rank these slashers, villains. I'd say slasher villains. I typed in rank slashers and only movies came up. So you got to put villains there. I'm a villain slashers. You know, your Chuckies and shit like that.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I pick it up what you're throwing down.
You're not gonna know who comes next, so
Okay.
I think you're gonna enjoy this one.
Okay.
What's up?
I'm waiting for you to tell me yourself.
Well,
What?
I didn't even make a list yet. I mean, I kind of have an. I don't need to make a list, but I'm trying to fuck with you, so I don't want to tell you. I don't want to give you Hannibal Lecter.
Okay. So if you said we're basing it off villains, correct?
They're slasher villains,
Slasher villains.
iconic villains from slasher films,
Okay.
and he eats people's heads.
So, one, I'm going to say this is one of my favorite movies of all time, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, you love Hannibal.
It's in a great franchise that I also love. I love the Hannibal character because of how intelligent he is, how classy he is, his taste in music. He's just not only is he eating people, but the way
the way he eats people.
the preparation and the time and the effort he is putting into cooking these people in such an elegant way. The way he plays music and the way he's so into art and just so classy, this guy. I think Hannibal is one of the best things ever.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm going one.
You're going one.
I know. I never ever do that. Hannibal Lecter's one for me.
Hannibal's one.
Yep. You can't say anybody else. And I know there's another guy who could be number one for me as well. But based off of what I said, this guy is going to take that one spot.
Chucky.
Little guy. Could probably kick the shit out of him across the room.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah, I could. I got legs. He
Yeah, good. I got legs.
he is pretty smart. He can be cunning. The whole supernatural part is scary though, man. He'll
He's the
always
doll
come
that
back.
always comes back.
Yeah, he's that fucking voodoo, man. You don't play with that voodoo. And since voodoo is real, and I'm terrified of it, Chucky ranks up there too, even though I could punt his ass across a football field.
You
He's
can't
gonna
get your leg that high, bro.
You want to see? Watch. Hold on. Live. Over my head for you guys who can't see.
It was not over his head.
It was that. All right, put your hand up. That's
Let me see it. Not over. It's not over your head,
Bro.
bro. You can't kick over your head.
Yes, you can. It's fucking over my eyes.
Oh,
That's good enough.
over your eyes. That's pretty impressive. I
I'm
gotta
a
say.
fat guy who can kick over my face. That is impressive.
Kick over my face. So where are we putting Chucky at then, guy?
We're putting Chucky just
Fucking
because I know there's plenty of other people who can dominate Chucky on this list. He's a 5.
Chuck. Really?
Yep.
That surprises me because you have a T-shirt.
I have everything. I have socks. I have a T-shirt. He's a ringtone on my phone.
Ghostface.
Fuck. Chucky should have been 4. God damn it. I really fucked myself there.
Yeah, you never go. You want bookends.
Yeah, I did. So the problem with that is even though this guy is off one of the best franchises of all time, he's still a stupid teenager in a costume.
Still a stupid teenager in a costume.
Yes, he's a teenager. Sometimes multiple teenagers. Most cases, multiple teenagers. I guess we're putting him at 4, so Chucky's 5.
So Ghostface.
Yeah, there's probably my mistake right there, guys.
You've made a lot of those in your lifetime.
Yeah, being born was one. Who's next?
Let's go. See, I like him, but
If my favorite's not on the list, I'll be mad.
let's go Leatherface.
Okay. Well, we got 3 and 4,
You have 2 and 3 left.
2 and 3. So, chainsaw, crazy,
Leatherface.
inbred, Leatherface. Supposedly based off a true story, not based off of a true story. 3. He's not getting the 2 spot.
Well, I'm happy you left the 2 spot there.
So is it my favorite or is it the other guy?
It's my favorite.
Ooh,
Nah, we'll go Freddy. Freddy Krueger.
Freddy's number 2, and I'm fine with him right under Hannibal. I know that's surprising that he's not first because I'm a huge Freddy fan. He's my favorite horror villain. That's like supernatural, I would say.
You just blew my mind by putting Chucky 5.
Yeah, that's probably where I messed up. I think if it wasn't a blind ranking, it would go Hannibal, Freddy, Chucky, Leatherface, Ghostface.
Yeah, I thought about throwing Mike in there.
Who?
Mike Myers.
If you threw Mike Myers, he would be under Freddy. He would be 3.
And then Jason. I thought I was just doing those 3, throwing
Yeah.
them in there with Leatherface and Chucky. But
I would actually place Jason above Michael Myers.
I'd put Jason's mom above them all.
Yeah. Well, Jason's a big dude, bro.
Yeah,
He's thick.
but Freddy versus Jason, we all know what happens.
Well, yeah, and I mean the original Friday the 13th was all his mom, and she went crazy, bitch. So yeah, she'd be number 1 for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I think your list is good. I'd like to pick holes in all your shit.
You got me. You tricked me on this one.
I just can't believe Chucky going 5 no matter what. No matter who was next. I thought Chucky would go 3.
Well, I
thought Chucky would be like the middle ground.
my thought process is you were going to have Jason, Freddy, and Michael on this list.
So was mine originally.
So you already had Hannibal. If you had Jason, Michael, and Freddy, that would have left Chucky at 5. And that was my thought process. Now, you did fuck me up. Once you said Ghostface, I was like, ah, shit.
That's why I did that.
Yeah, you did good with that one.
You
I
did
wasn't
good.
expecting that. You tripped me up, guy.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts, 90s horror movies.
Yeah, what
rock.
movie are you gonna recommend everybody watch out of this out of our list?
Well,
Just one movie.
if you've been born on just one movie.
Just one of the 10. 11, we threw in Jason Goes to Hell in there. And if it's not on our list, what's your 90s horror movie that you would recommend to somebody?
Scream. Because it is the concept of horror movies. We're talking about horror's 90 movies, and the entire concept and plot of this movie is horror movies. So if you're looking to watch a horror movie and get into a Halloween type vibe, I mean, this hits all the notes. If you're a younger person, you want more of a spooky, legit Halloween theme, maybe Hocus Pocus. But if you're looking for a good horror movie, go watch Scream.
I agree. Scream. Just throw out some honorable mentions that we didn't make the cut, which because this was tough, it really was. I Know What You Did Last Summer,
Yeah.
Urban Legend. There's a few other ones I missed. Where they at? Uh, you have. That's about
Jennifer
it.
Love Hewitt, by the way, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Mm.
Yeah, that's a great. That's one of my favorites.
Jack Black was in that briefly too. Wasn't he the fat guy, or was that a different fat guy? I think
Might have
all
been
fat
him.
white guys look the same at this point.
But I'd like to touch on some of the '90s action, like Spawn and Blade and Anaconda
Well, you said
and Lake
action, but
Placid.
technically those could fall into the
They're
horror.
action horror. They're action horror.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Lake, sorry,
Lake Placid.
Lake Placid was great. Betty White feeding those cows to alligators, man. R.I.P. Sorry.
Sorry, everybody. He was hitting his vape.
R.I.P. Betty.
Uh, but yeah, the '90s overall. I mean, disturbing behavior, the facility, the faculty. I said facility.
Oh,
The
the
faculty.
faculty. That was such a
Like
good movie.
the '90s really. Once again, this is why we're covering them. Cape Fear,
Cape Fear. Wasn't that? No, that was an 80s movie.
'91, bro.
91. So, since that's 90s, I will say that's a really good freaking
It's a
movie.
great movie.
Jennifer Lang from American Horror Story. If y'all don't know who that name is, she's the old lady from the first couple seasons. Jennifer Lang, or Jessica Lang, sorry. And then you have Robert De Niro playing a psycho. It's like the movie Fear, but the grown up version. It's Cape Fear.
We got Bride of Chucky in there.
Bride of
Yeah.
Chucky, Miss Jennifer Tilly.
Mhm.
You know she's a poker player?
Species.
Dude, she's like really good at poker. She's like a professional.
Yeah.
Like she's on ESPN playing poker.
World Series of Poker. Shout out.
Mhm.
I mean, overall, I really do like the later '90s stuff, but like you got the Craft in there.
Mhm.
But I would throw at the movies we covered. Scream's got to be the one.
Yeah. Just because it hits all of the notes that you want.
Scream set the bar for a lot of movies we're talking about too.
They did.
Because you got to think there'd be no I Know What You Did Last Summer without Scream. No fucking Urban Legend. A lot of these movies would not have come out if it wasn't for Scream.
Mhm.
And that's it. Thank you guys once again for listening. I know we're trying here. Hopefully they're good. I mean, we're getting some downloads now.
Yeah. So since we're in the Halloween guys, it's October. We're going to try to finish out the rest of the month, making it spooky. That's why we're doing this horror movie themes. Have we decided which direction we're going to go next week?
Well, we do this and then I switch it anyways.
Mhm.
But if we're going to stick with Halloween and stick with scary, spooky, I was thinking we just pick 3 to 5
'90s true crime stories,
true crime, and we also have like
world events,
World
mysterious
events,
world events, just
like
anything creepy from
serial
the 90s.
killers, anything, ghost stories.
Okay.
I mean, I could just talk about Goosebumps and we could go all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
Yeah.
So I have to work on 3 stories. For
Yeah,
me,
get
3 to
3.
5 stories.
And we're not going to tell each other. So I want you to write to Justin. I just
What
for
if
one,
we have the same stories?
then
I
we-
doubt it. You
I
won't have
doubt
the
it.
same
I
as
don't
me.
have fucking same
Yeah.
stories. You're a fucking nerd.
Yeah, I'll get macabre with it.
I'm gonna use I'll do some research, but I'm not gonna type it up for you. So
You can get more flowery if you want, because I'm gonna get like all 3 of mine's
I'm
probably
looking
gonna
for
be
people
true
eating
crime.
fucking people's asses and shit. Like I want some
Good.
fucked up shit,
Good.
and I like ghosts.
So I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast was to do stuff like that. So I mean, this is going to be the first episode where I get to touch on some true crime stuff, and don't know what that's going to sound like on a podcast yet, but I'll try to figure it out within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, like scary ass. Not just like, oh, this guy killed his wife. I want like fucking eating people's fucking brains and shit, bro.
But I'll try to find something from the 90s. We'll see. There's a lot of stuff going on all the time, so I'm sure there's plenty that happened in the 90s.
There's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Thank you
You
guys
know
for
Jeffrey
listening.
Dahmer was murdered in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's when he got convicted and all that, had his skull bashed in.
I appreciate everybody listening. I'm Jonathan,
I'm Justin.
and that was
2 J's,
1 pod.